Conversation now.
Peace.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Ain't that much. I was contemplating, trying to hit you up earlier. I was trying to balance out a lot of my phone calls today.
Yeah, I was knocked out, man. I seen that. I emailed you not too long ago.
Yeah. So I just said, let me just hit you now. I was gonna call my son, but I said, nah, I could call him tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on?
Not much, man. Just been laid up all day, relaxing, catching up on some rest.
I wanted to add, because I was thinking about what I was telling you about $500,000, you know what I'm saying? Like far as and what people saying that was like a cowardly move and all that.
Uh-huh.
What you taping now or not?
Yeah, I am, but whatever on the record, whatever ain't.
All right. Well, my thing is, when you said it was a cowardly move, the people, the gods don't feel like that it was cowardly,
Mm-hmm.
To be truthfully speaking, if they feel that if he did that to himself, he was a real successful person, then really to get that done.
Right.
As far as in a lot of people's eyes, because normally, it takes a lot of heart to even want to do that to yourself. And like I was trying to share with you, I don't really know what happened. If he did it to himself, somebody did it to him, I don't know. But at the end of the day is, a lot of people in here go through the same, situation, I mean, so dudes, that had, 25 of life, and their girl or their wife leave them, and they put the rope around their neck and kill themselves.
Right.
I've been around like quite a few situations in here like that. So, nobody know what a person actually, going through to actually want to do that to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy and it's sad that things like that happen, and, I didn't really want to really touch too much on that because I don't want to really, when it's like that, when you got family, and people, family don't want to share a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, because it's real touching, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then he got kids to top it off, and then for his kids to hear, everybody gonna want to know a reason why.
Yeah.
Like I said, a brother could have been really going through something at the moment, and then that can seriously go down, and nobody really know what he was going through. I know from the last conversation I had, he was telling me that you got a lot of people that's getting money, and he wanted to get on so bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And because when you out there, you putting in the work, and then you don't see no comeback coming. And I was trying to be in his ear, like, letting them know a lot of artists, they just blow up overnight.
Yeah.
DMX, he didn't blow up overnight. He been a dope artist. Black Raw, he been a dope artist. He didn't blow up overnight. He took some time for Black Raw to really, get his break. And a lot of people don't really even know that. I know Black Rob. I party with Black Rob.
Yeah.
And me and Sport was with Black Rob, when I was out there in a club called Two Eyes. First we left Justin's Puffy Restaurant, and then we went to Two Eyes. It was a bunch of us. And I'm surprised I don't know if Sport shared that with you, but we left Justin's and we went to Two Eyes, and it was a bunch of us. And Black Raw, we got up in there, and Black Raw wanted to do, the song "Whoa."
Right.
And everybody was trying to tell Black Raw, let us go first, because once you do "Whoa," they ain't gonna let nobody else get on the mic. And then Black Raw was acting like he was gonna give them the mic, but started to drink off with "Whoa." And then it was a couple of mic because the mic had a cord on it. So all the little young dudes that wanted to rhyme first was very upset. So, they started off singing "Whoa," and then it just started into a little brawl because they felt that they should have got the mic before the "Whoa." At the end, we faced off with each other. Let's go outside. Everybody got outside. Rah, 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 but everybody dabbed, and we all stepped away. It was no harm, no foul, no harm caused, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm surprised Sport didn't share that with you. I did like some stuff with Sport as well, you know what I'm saying? Like bars with the music industry.
Yeah. R.I.P. to Black Rob, by the way. No, I was saying rest in peace to Black Rob, by the way.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace to Black Rob, I mean,
mm-hmm. Hey, but look, before you say that, I never actually spoke to Sport. This was going off of an interview he did with a guy from Brooklyn named Doggy Diamonds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, even though that he did an interview with a kid named, I don't know the dude. So my thing is this: sometimes people gotta be really, mindful of the things that they say, because like I said, when you say certain things, you can trigger something. You can trigger other people off in the wrong way, and you could have been trying to be doing the right thing. You meant no harm by saying what you said, but sometimes people will catch it wrong and feel that you being disrespectful and you shouldn't have said nothing and all this other crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's where I was going with it. Because it's a real touching situation. So when you asked me, I didn't really want to go into the details and saying what the people were saying in the street. Because I don't know. I wasn't out there.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of feedback saying how it went down, and then I got a lot of other feedback saying it didn't go down that way. So I didn't really want to go into the depths of what actually happened because I wasn't present.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I don't want to. I don't want to go. I don't want to go off by saying what somebody else is saying. Because if it ain't right, then it ain't no sense for me to be saying what somebody else saying, because it always sounds better when that person is actually saying it. You know what I'm saying? Not no third party situation, or I heard, or someone said this. I don't like to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I like to deal with actual facts.
Yeah, and that's the same situation. I guess so. You in the same boat as everybody else in a sense, because like it's this big thing over him, whether it was a suicide or whether somebody did that, and that's so every
right.
time he's spoken about, it's that mystery.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I said it's touching. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I don't really like spill on it. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I can just say that my brother gonna be loved. Regardless of whom or what. And no one is really upset at the fact of what happened.
Right.
We all feel that it shouldn't have happened, but things happen. And we're dealing with it. I know I've been dealing with it for the last going on 25 years. Like I told you, yesterday that I've been here going on 2 decades and a half, and hopefully, I'll be released.
Right.
I got caught up in the spider web in a situation in the recording studio, and the sad thing is no one came in and said they saw me do nothing to no one in the inside, and no one really said they saw me do something to somebody on the outside, because I know I didn't do nothing to nobody on the outside. You know what I'm saying? And I just got caught up in a situation on if you didn't do it, who did it? Like, and I just got back in a situation with this attorney and tell him, you tell me who did it. You telling me you got this and that, you should know who did it. You should be telling me who did it, instead of trying to forcefully accuse anyone,
Well, it says a lot that the victim, if he and half were cousins and you and half was still cool after that, because I doubt if he knew you were guilty, y'all still wouldn't have been tight.
Well, at the end of the day, for the record,
so that just says it right there, huh?
Well, for the record, the brother is not no cousin of $500,000. People just threw that out there.
Okay.
He's like family. You know what I'm saying? So Half got a lot of love for boy.
Right.
And like I said, something happened that should have never happened. And I sympathize with the Shepherd family for their loss.
Yeah.
And I don't want nobody to think that I don't sympathize for the family, because no one should lose a loved one under no circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm still fighting my case. I'm trying to fight for my freedom. I've been fighting for my freedom for the last going on 25 years. And it comes to a point with me at times that I'm tired. I'm tired to a point where, I want to get out of here. I want to go home. I want to go home to my family.
Mm-hmm.
And it never came to a point where, that I actually wanted to do something to myself. At first, I thought I was going in that direction when I lost my older sister. I lost my mom, and then my older sister used to come up on a regular basis. And, when I lost my older sister, that just hit me and just also crushed me in the head. And I didn't give up. I kept going to the law library, fighting my case, working out and trying to keep a clear-headed mind, And it was hard. It was hard, he be talking to Half one a couple of times. He wanted to give up. Me and him spoke. And I told him never give up. You got to keep on going forward. And he was looking at a lot of these little young boys out there driving nice little whips, and they was getting money, and and he putting in work in the studio. He wanted to come up. And at the end, remember, I told you, I got on the phone for him. I reached out to try to grab a hold of Jay-Z, and I couldn't get a hold of him at the time because he was going through something with his label, false with Dame and Dash. So he wasn't present up there at the moment. You had Cameron and them up there thinking they was in control of the label at the time. So Cole pushed back. So my next move was Murder Inc. And I reached out to Murder Inc. and I spoke to a brother named BJ, and I told him $500,000 looking for a new home, my brother looking for a new home. And I put $500,000 on the phone with them. And I did that for Rikers Island. And I know they was going back and forth for a minute because they was actually trying to get him a deal through Def Jam. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he probably would have been able to get with Ho, because Ho ended up being the president of Def Jam.
Right.
A lot of things was starting to move for the moment, but he didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? If he would have spoke to Ho, I think Ho would have picked his spirit up a lot better. You know what I'm saying? And been able to help him with his situation.
Yeah.
My thing is, if I would have been in the street, the first thing I would want him to do is go on a tour with one of the big artists like Cole or Ja Rule or, DMX, or someone that, could really put him out there the way he needed to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was locked up at the time, so, and my thing was I wanted to be his road manager and be able to get shows like that, big gigs with big name artists. But like I said, I got caught up in the web for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I could have did much more if I would have never been in this position that I'm in now, because I know a lot of people, I know a lot of artists.
Right.
That's why I had him do a joint with Kane. You know what I'm saying? I would have probably had him do more songs with Kane if I would have been in the street. He would have did more than just one song. He probably would have did, they could have probably did a nice little demo where him and Kane could have went on tour. Old school, new school. You know? And, you know, the joint that they did is similar like that. You know what I'm saying? $500,000 and Big Daddy hit you with the 2-piece. And it's a hard verse, you know. Kane got the track because it's actually Kane's track. That's Kane's song. He called us to the studio and put $500,000 on his track, and they just went at it, verse for verse. It's hard too. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's hard.
Yeah.
If he be the joint that we went to the studio with Parole and Carl Thomas. You know, when we got in the studio, Pharrell was singing a hook, trying to show Carl Thomas how to sing the hook. Yeah. And he was, at first we thought we was doing it with him. At first, when I got there, I didn't know who Pharrell was at the time. And so $500,000 said, yo, dude, that's Pharrell. I was like, oh, okay. And he went in the booth first and he did the hook. So that's when I just first met Carl Thomas at the time. And then he's showing Carl Thomas how he wanted him to sing the hook, and Carl Thomas went in there and sung the hook. And we put the song together and it came out dope too. But these songs is not even on $500,000 album, neither one of them. But, you know, like I said, I would like to play these two songs. Have Folkmaster Flex play those two songs and drop some bombs to it, just to show, you know, how dope $500,000 was. It really was, you know. And, you know, it's not just those two songs, but it's a whole bunch of songs I would like for them to play on the radio and big him up, you know what I'm saying? Because he is a dope artist, whether people know it or not. And a lot of people try to say that he was before his time, you know. Just the way that he was rhyming, and you know, he's doing reggae music and rhyming at the same damn time. So a lot of people wasn't even expecting that much of talent coming from him anyway, you know. But he was a real special artist, you know. And you know, like I said, you know, he's gonna be still live through me, the family, and his kids, you know, and people that really love him, you know. You know, and I appreciate the stuff that you trying to do for him to get him, you know, really out there, you know. But that's why I asked you again, you know what I'm saying? What type of direction you gonna go with this information to push it where people will really
and then you want to know, let me tell you another one of my motivations, right? It was you know, back when Master P was doing his thing and he had his label. Master P had a artist, you know, that was real popular in New Orleans that got killed around 2003. He actually got killed. He actually was killed a month after the thing would have. I believe was in October. This was in November. But they refer to him as a New Orleans Tupac. His name was Soulja Slim, and he was relatively just pretty much known in the South, exclusively in the South. Since his murder in 2003, you know, the day before Thanksgiving, it has been more people that have researched and done stories on him. Music has come out, photos has come out. When there was only a few photos of him floating around, video footage has come out. All of this stuff is like somebody at some time got the ball rolling on him, and his legacy has grown bigger and bigger and bigger. And now it's to the point where they're going to make they're talking about putting like a hip hop museum in New Orleans, and he's going to be in it. His kids just released a song of him, and they're going to see the money from it. There is it's 50 Cent did a hip hop documentary about like hip hop artists who passed, King Von and these people. And it was an episode on Soulja Slim. All these things represent opportunities and checks for those close to him and his family members and things like that. So just like I've seen Soulja Slim's legacy grow, I hope that this can be a brick on that building to people discovering $500,000 and his legacy being able to shine a little brighter and people to know who he is, and hopefully it'll create opportunities for those close to him.
Yes, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that he really seriously needs to be put out there like that, because he put a lot of work and a lot of time, and he just got 2 albums. Like I said, he got a whole bunch of mixtapes as well. He got a lot of material that he did. Pause with reggae, rap. He did his thing. And he deserved that, and not only that, his kids deserve a lot more, of their father, and this is how they could get back. Like what you just said. You know what I'm saying? We could put some songs out, and they can still, and being that his son, I wanted to put his son on tour and let his son tour and do, his father albums, just like the brother from Wu-Tang, Old Dirty Bastard's son. He was doing a lot of his father work on his songs. He was performing, with Wu-Tang doing songs. That's the same way that I wanted to put his son out there doing his father's songs, the same exact way.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And, I think that's why he really seriously needs to get to the street, because that would be a real big thing for something for his son could do, being that he runs, you know what I'm saying? Go on tour and perform his father songs on a tour, like, and perform with some of the artists that was on that album. He could be doing the verses. We could do some videos, all kinds of shit like that. This is stuff that I have, planned it out. You know what I'm saying? That's part of, my documentary. You know what I'm saying? Was reaching out to his son and being. I'm hoping to be able to work with him and to be able to do the things that I just said to you. And do a few videos at $500,000 do, but have his son, singing the song and doing the video still.
Right.
And this is stuff that I want to do with his son. I want to put his son out there, as well as, keeping $500,000 name and his, his dream alive, And that was good the way that you laid it down, because me, I always like to know where a person is going at, and it could be, worth, not just your wow, but the people that was always behind wow as well. And I wanted them, I wanted him to get on. I've been wanting him to get on. And I can involve his son now, knowing that I know his son rhymes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can give a lot of vision, you know what I'm saying? And like, even with the movie deal, I want to revisit that, because had a part in the movie deal, and that could still be his son, still playing his father role in the movie deal. So it's a lot of stuff that that I want to really get out there and really get the ball rolling myself, and and get back in the swing of a lot of things.
All right.
I just gotta get back out there, and it's good that you putting this out there. Because this is what we need, something to be put out there.
Yep. Get the ball rolling.
Right. I don't want to get, for it to be a negative thing. People asking what happened and this and that. I just want to just get to working. Let's go back to the working part and making things happen.
All right.
That's where I want it. You know what I'm saying? Because me trying to figure out, did he do this to himself, or did somebody do this to him? That's just real upsetting. So, and I don't want to go down that road. I'm trying to move forward. And I'm not trying to live yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm still living day by day, and that's why I want to continue on this little journey, living day by day, and forget about yesterday, because yesterday then came and it's gone already. I like to always move forward. That's just me.
So, what's your date again in 2026?
Well, it'll be in November. Hopefully hopefully it'll be in November. I'll be out. You know, I see the board in January. You know, normally it's like four months later. January. Then I got February, March, April, May. You know.
Oh, okay.
I'm eligible for parole.
So, I hate to even say that, but you know, what's the longest you can be in there? What, about 30?
Well, I don't know. It's up to them. You know what I'm saying? If you know, what I can say to this is that I know that whatever the judge sentenced me to, it'll be already did it. You know what I'm saying? Like the time. You know what I'm saying? So how much more time, you know, they want me to do?
Yeah. That's what I say, because I know some states a L is like 30. Some states a L is L. You know.
Well, it's just a life sentence. You know what I'm saying? There's no promise that, you know, but you know, we can see what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens. I hope for the best, prepare myself for the worst. And I always say only two things can happen. Either they're going to let me go or they're going to hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I still got my case in. I may get out before then.
Yeah.
I'm still fighting my case.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah, I'm in an actually innocent project right now. I'm fighting for my freedom. You know what I'm saying? I've been fighting for my freedom day one that I came here. So I've been fighting, you know?
They might come get you tomorrow. Like, oh, you ready to go?
Absolutely.
you gonna be out moonwalking in the street, in the middle of the street.
Absolutely. I'm still fighting, you know? So
yeah.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. You know? I got a couple of seconds left, you know what I'm saying? I don't know when you want me to hit you back up, but I said, you know, let me hit you tonight and just finish, you know, the little conversation that we had yesterday, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get that in there, you know, about my brother, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.